Yeah. There's fucking real ass demons, man. This is demonic. I'm not kidding. Like, I, realized that, okay, baby. Okay. That, yeah. This is what's going to be strange about this whole thing is that the reality is that I've literally tried to deny this instead of buy into it. And everyone else is going to feel like I'm a crazy person and talking about demons. I do not want to believe that. But there have been nights or things that have happened that just, there's just no other explanation. I mean, their capabilities are beyond human. I mean, maybe they're aliens. I don't know, but if they are demons, then what's the answer? I don't know much about God. And wouldn't that have to mean that that would be the answer? But I honestly don't think this is gonna. You know, those things have always scared me. Those like the movie The Exorcist or Emily Rose, or it's just like one of those things where it just kind of rocks me to my core, like gets me like super super freaked out, like, and that shit only really happens if that shit's real, you know. It's just like you don't really get angry about something that someone's calling you out on unless it's true, you know. Otherwise, you're just like, whatever, who cares, right? But if it's true and it's something that you don't deal with or you're denying to yourself or whatever, then you can get super bummed, super angry usually. And my feeling towards like the movies, The Exorcist, The Omen, stuff that has to do with stuff. Like I always told people, it's like stuff I can actually like fear that I can't do anything about. You know, like that's way more scary than, I don't know, like a real murderer that's flesh and blood. But yeah, and that woman and her daughter in fucking, in what you call, in the best friend's animal sanctuary, it was weird. They just looked like their faces like look demonish. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like demon looking faces. It was weird. It was super weird. Like I talked to them for a while, and I was like, okay. But I don't walk away from stuff like that. I think people think I walk away, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm convinced they're nice people, or they're normal, or whatever. No. Uh-uh. I replay everything that we talked about in my head, and I think about the way I felt when they were saying this, or where they were doing that, or what they said in particular. Anyhow, I think I was kind of lured here to Colorado. I really do. Um, because I think the guy is full of shit. And, yeah, I think he is. I think he's full of shit. And because he was like, all like, we have a business and this is for real and this is legit. And I got here and it was like, he's like, I couldn't really do this. And, you know, I'd need this guy to do it. And, you know, he does his other stuff. And, you know, I don't really have a shop. I'm just like, you know, I'm just using this one parking space. And it's like, wow, what the fuck was I thinking? But it's the same thing as when I took off to Portland, you know, and I had this good feeling after I got the bus, like, but then it just went all downhill when I went to meet with Alex at AutoX when I traveled all the way up there, and it just went all fucked up, you know, it went all downhill. It's like I just made wrong choices and I just kept making them. And I think coming to Colorado, like, I'll tell you this, I don't think demons like the heat. Like they like cold. Every time I woke up in that fucking RV and it was just ice cold inside and they just cut the heat. Like, I don't think they like heat. I think they like cold. Um, I think they like cold environments, and I think this being up here in Colorado is like, it's cold. And they're gonna like that. That's just, I don't know. Maybe because they don't really have blood running through their veins. You know? I don't care. People are gonna think I'm nuts and write me off. I guess like a whole bunch of other people in history that have been written off that had said that there were demons. There are. So I'm going to spend the next couple of hours hopefully staying awake and researching demons. I was just outside, I didn't see anybody running around the roof, but I've heard stuff like that. And in those moments, I'm going, holy fuck. Like, is there somebody on the roof? There are fucking demons. I really think there are now. I really do. Because this stuff isn't, it just defies logic. It just does. And I can't think of anything, like, in reality that makes sense. So this has to be outside of it. I'm not going to go with the answer is I'm crazy and I'm seeing things because my animals are dying, like, right in front of me. Like, that's real. Kitty's dead. That's real. You know, like when my mom's like, oh, this is all in your head. I'm like, I had 2 dogs before, and they're dead. And I had to put them to sleep 2 weeks apart from each other. And I had a cat that, 2 different vets told me was poisoned and, was going to die like within days. And I gave it, sub-Q fluids every other day and just laid with it and talked to it and Suela, and loved him and told him how much I loved him and that God was going to take care of him because I was told he was going to die and that, and he lived. But did somewhere along the way I piss off God? Did I take the wrong turns? Did I keep taking wrong turns? I mean, is it because of all the hatred and anger I feel inside that, for what they're doing to me and what they've done to me and what's happened to me in my life? And, you know, I always felt like, hey, I'm a good person because I haven't acted out on any of this shit, you know? But maybe the demons think I'm supposed to be one of theirs, you know? One of them. Because that is something I keep saying is that that's the one thing they can't have is that I be them, you know? I'm not gonna go and rape and murder somebody. I'm not gonna go rape women and fucking sodomize women and fucking drug animals to death and I'm not gonna do any of that in my life, Ever. You could put a gun to my head, I'm never gonna do that shit. Ever. I'd be like, pull the trigger. Let this be over. If I do that, if I take my own life, am I gonna go to heaven? Because I certainly, like, if it ends up that I end up with these fuckers, oh my god, for eternity. And that's another thing is that right when this started happening, after they killed my dogs, and they drugged me and shit in Hawaii, which I now look back on and I'm like, I was totally drugged because I lost it. And like, okay, yeah, you'd lose it for a little bit with your dogs and everything being murdered, but I kept like freaking out about it for years. I couldn't like And I mean freaking out, like talking about how they were demons. And that they were evil. I think I opened the door to this shit. And I've always said to people, like, you know, when I had those 2 incidents in my house with spirits and shit, I was like, I told people, I just don't want to open that door, you know? I literally, you know, if that shit exists, I don't want to know about it. Because what am I going to do about it? Or how do I deal with that? There is no, there is no answer, because you can't. You're not in the same realm, and you don't understand, and you don't know what the hell's going on, and they do. Or I mean, you know what I mean? Like I just said to people, I don't want to know. I don't even want to talk about it. You know, because I feel like that opens the door. So as I'm saying all this, I'm thinking, yeah, I really opened the door. I spewed a bunch of evil shit out of my own being from what was inside me from all the abuse and all the horrible stuff, and I spewed that out. And the guy living next door, like, you know, it just flowed. It was weird. I can't describe it. That's just how it felt. And I remember feeling that way. I didn't really say shit to anybody. It's only in retrospect that I've described it as that, because that's how it felt. And every time I would do that afterwards, after they killed my dogs, and I would freak out in my backyard, and I would yell and scream and fucking say nasty shit and horrible shit. That's how it felt like, because they were there and they were listening, and they were like, it was like flowing between us, this darkness, this blackness, this like horribleness. So maybe they just think I'm one of them, and they have to get me, and they have to rein me in, and they have to like, they have to get me. I don't know. I'm super freaked out. And there's nobody to go to. I'm like, can I go to a church? But I went to that one church, and he was like, you just have to say God is your savior. And I'm like, that's not fair. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into like this demon bitch that's fucking raped and fucking sodomized me. She can just be like, God is my savior, and then she just doesn't have to be held accountable for all the shit she's done. Like, that doesn't ring true to my head. Like, it doesn't like logically make sense. I think penance would have to be. I think people that believe that shit want to just believe that they can do shit and then, you know, not have to pay for it, basically, and not be held accountable. And maybe God doesn't. Maybe God is just all love, and there is no being held accountable. Maybe I've been wrong. Maybe that's why I was drawn to the Anthony DeMello thing, but I just couldn't swallow it. At first, because they killed my dogs, and I was like, no. I mean, I'm not gonna love somebody like that does something like that. I'm not gonna accept that. I'm not gonna feel like I'm the bad person because I'm judging it. Like, there has to be judgment in the world, or else women and children would get raped all the time. If we didn't have judgment, and we didn't have laws, then fucking, do you understand what it would be like? It would be fucking insanity here on Earth. Like, we already have so many women and children being raped all the time. If we didn't judge that and make the laws that made say, no, you can't do that, then everybody would just be doing whatever the fuck they wanted to whoever they wanted. And it would be fucking nuts. Like, for real. So, she's up there right now. She's up in the fucking attic. How she got up there, I don't fucking know. I didn't see an entrance. Maybe she went in through the fucking fireplace. Maybe that's how she's gonna come down in here tonight. Is through the fucking fireplace, because she's a demon and she can fit through that fucking thing. I mean, she's fit in spaces small before. I think she really is a demon. I really do. I mean, how could you spend that much time up in a fucking attic anyways? Like, it's just like, humans don't do stuff like that. No. I mean, I never read about anything like this. Never. I've never heard of, like, Jeffrey Dahmer didn't spend days in an attic waiting to kill somebody, you know? There is shit in this world I don't get, and I don't understand, and I'm not going to be able to figure this out. But I'm going to research right now. Fucking, as I watch my dogs just twitch and twitch and twitch. I have to be on the side of good because I still can't wrap around my head around being like this, like doing this to an animal. I can't. I cannot. I can't imagine doing this and being stoked on this. I mean, I'm just. It's indescribable. There are demons. There are demons here on Earth. There are a lot of them. A lot. I think the government knows they exist. I don't know if they're aliens. I don't know if they're demons. I don't know what the fuck they are. But they're evil. They're evil as fuck. And they're not human. They don't feel anything like human emotions. They're not real people. Like, I wonder if, like, I ever got a hold of this chick, if I shot her, if fucking black stuff would just pour out of her instead of fucking blood. You know? I don't care how this sounds. I have a feeling that in the future, this is going to be an issue because the more and more and more of them there are, the less and less good people there are, then at some point there'll just be this tipping point of they don't have to be hidden. You know, they don't have to, and all of society will just be nutsos. Like, because they don't, I guess they have jobs, some of them. She doesn't. A lot of them don't have jobs. Like, they just do this shit. And I think there's more and more and more of them. I think I got targeted by demons. I think all Hell's Angels are demons. I think all Hawaiian Syndicate guys are demons. All cartel guys are demons. I think I do. I think they're all fucking demons. I don't. I know I sound like a lunatic. I don't even care. I think it's true. I mean, there's no other logical explanation for what's happening to me. There just isn't. And the government knows that it's happening. They know that it's happening and they're watching it happen. And my message to them would be that if you save me and my dogs, that I will not say anything to anyone. Literally. If you go and hide me from these people, or these things, I will not say a fucking word to society about any of it. Period. I will make that promise if you save me and save my animals and me. You know? I will. I don't even, you know, just put me somewhere where there there's not as many of them and they don't know who I am. Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? Fuck. She's a demon. These aren't people. Oh my god, that means that literally in society there's just demons everywhere. Everywhere. Be afraid. Be very fucking afraid. No wonder people don't want to watch my videos. You know, they're horrific. No, they're real. And this isn't a nightmare just for me. Like, no. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna look up how to protect yourself from demons.